There are those who are great at what they do, but they never became great alone. They had a mentor, someone to teach them, someone to inspire them, a pro to guide them. And now it's your turn. Introducing InstaPro. Choose your pro and get into a game of League in less than 30 seconds. Go to ProGuides.com and start winning right now.
Hello summoners, and welcome back to another ProGuides mid-patch analysis video. My name is Kellen, and today I'll be going over all of the new strongest champions using fresh statistics to give you the most accurate and best tier list available. We encourage all of our viewers to comment on our tier list and our champion placements and say if you agree or disagree with us on the certain champions that we've placed. Also, we've heard your feedback and we've added a new feature to our tier list, which is the D tier. Needless to say, a lot has changed since the beginning of patch 9.11, and there's so much that we need to cover. But before we get started, make sure that you're always checking out ProGuides.com if you want to see massive and instant improvements to your rank. We have a new feature called InstaPro, and this is great because it provides 24/7 on-demand coaching by the best of the best. ProGuides is the best proven way to increase your rank, and the best part is, it's free, and you can't get much better than that. Click the link below to watch video guides made by your favorite pro players and receive coaching whenever you want. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into it. The tier list for top lane for our mid-patch analysis sees a ton of changes compared to the one that we had at the start of the patch. There weren't a lot of balance changes made to top laners in patch 9.11, but the meta has shifted quite a bit due to some unique picks rising in popularity. Sitting high atop the mountain of our tier list in S tier is Aatrox the Darkened Blade. Ever since his little rework, Aatrox has been absolutely dominating the top lane meta and currently has one of the highest play rates and win rates in the entire game. His healing combined with his burst and mobility make him a constant threat during all stages of the game in any elo. In our S tier, we have Jax, Darius, Renekton, Riven, Urgot, Vladimir, and a new member in Tahm Kench. Much like Aatrox, Tahm Kench has also received a rework pretty recently, and it has caused his win rate in the top lane to skyrocket. Our favorite little catfish is eating up the solo queue ladder right now and holds a very good stance in the meta. One of the best features about Tahm is that he's pretty straightforward, so you should have no problems adding him to your champion pool. Seriously guys, it's time to unbench the Kench and grab some free low while you still can. Next up, let's talk about another S tier pick, which is Riven. Riven's win rate dropped pretty drastically after the nerfs to her E Valor. However, it seems that players have fully adapted to her new playstyle and her win rate is slowly climbing back up to what it used to be. Although she's currently a lot harder to play compared to before, she's still one of the best champions in the game if you know how to fully utilize her kit. Our challenger analysts predict that her win rate will increase even more by the end of next patch, so make sure you jump right back on the Riven hype train. I also want to mention that we have a wonderful box Riven guide on ProGuides.com that will help you recreate those epic montage Riven plays. If you want to play Riven at the highest level, then I suggest you check out this course using the link below. You don't want to miss out on this. Akali and Jace received some pretty heavy nerfs at the start of patch 9.11, and they'll both be dropped by one tier. Akali holds the lowest win rate in the top lane at a whopping 43.5%, and Jace follows at a close second with 44.9%. You definitely want to avoid playing these champions for now because the changes to their kit pretty much gutted them from solo queue. However, both Jace and Akali will still see competitive play, so don't be surprised if your favorite team locks them in. Moving on to the jungle tier list, where it seems pretty similar compared to the one that we had previously, with the exception to our S tier. In S tier, we have Hecarim, Elise, Evelynn, Vi, Nunu, and then welcoming back a familiar face in Rammus. Rammus received a small nerf at the start of 9.11, but he's managed to powerball his way back into S tier. He's still one of the best junglers in the game, and it seems that he'll stay that way until he gets hit with another nerf. Vi has been on the brink of making her push into S tier for the past few months and has finally managed to vault break her way out of A tier. Her Aftershock build is OP as heck for solo queue, and even some pro players have been using her in competitive play. If you want to learn how to play Vi in the jungle like a real pro, then check out our previous video, OP Picker Bans for 9.11. In there, you'll find a detailed explanation on how to play Vi and punch your way into the next division. As for Warwick and Gragas, they both received some decent buffs to their kit this patch, and they've been moved up by one tier. Gragas had some nice changes to his base stats, and this allows his clear to be a little bit better and a little bit healthier. Warwick, on the other hand, had a huge buff to his Q's healing during the mid to late game. This change actually boosted Warwick's win rate quite a bit, even though most players do max his Blood Hunt instead. Lastly, our friends Amumu, Karthus, and Master Yi faced some heavy nerfs at the start of 9.11. Although Karthus and Master Yi received a small hotfix a few days ago, the changes have made them an overall nerf and have affected their stance in the meta. Karthus has been dropped to our B tier and has actually managed to drop below a 50% win rate in the jungle. This is quite surprising because the overall nerfs to his kit were pretty small thanks to the hotfix buffs, so it's unlikely that his win rate will be affected this much. Yi, on the other hand, remains in our A tier for our mid-patch analysis video and is still a great pickup for Platinum and below. The nerfs affect his win rate by a tiny amount, but it's still a good idea to spam him in low ranked games. Amumu had his passive true damage lowered from 13% down to 10%, and our challenger analysts were correct in dropping him below into our B tier. He's still a great pick for low elo, but might be even a C tier pick for higher elo ones. The mid lane tier list sees a lot of changes compared to the one that we had at the start of the patch. In our S tier, we have Talon, Zed, Ahri, Malzahar, Vladimir, and 2 new members in Sylas and Katarina. Sylas has always been close to an S tier caliber pick and has finally chained his way towards the top. However, you should look to abuse him while you can, because our challenger analysts are predicting that he'll be gutted within the next few weeks. He's receiving some significant changes on the PBE. Katarina, on the other hand, has made her way into S tier due to her win rate increasing every single patch. We're not exactly sure why this happened, but it's likely due to the meta favoring her playstyle in patch 9.11, as well as the past couple of patches. A tier remains pretty similar with the exception of a few new members, and the first one is Pyke. Pyke mid has been rising in popularity all over the world, and it's safe to say now that he is a legitimate mid laner. We all thought that solo lane Pyke was pretty dead after the nerfs he received a couple of patches ago, but it turns out that he's been sleeper OP the whole time. G2's Wonder played a huge part in this sudden surge in Pyke mid because of the immaculate performance he displayed at MSI with his Pyke top. He showed us that Pyke is definitely viable in a solo lane, and he even defeated the 3-time world champions SK Telecom with his pick. All in all, just think of Pyke as a similar champion to Talon, but with a bit slower burst and more consistent roaming. Abuse him while you can because he's likely to get nerfed again. Lady Lucky's been smiling on Twisted Fate all around the world due to his rising popularity with a new build that was created by an EU mid laner named Jepsu. We noticed in our patch 9.10 Korean OP builds video that a ton of Korean mid laners were going Kleptomancy hybrid TF, and it turns out they were all inspired by this European prodigy. Pretty much every mid laner around the world now is spamming this build and has caused TF to move up to our A tier. Our analysts predict that this might even bring him up to S tier next patch, and we'll keep you guys up to date with our new tier list every week. Press that sub button. Now boys, it's on to the bad news. Akali received a heavy nerf at the start of the patch, and oh boy, things are looking a little bit grim. Before the nerfs, Akali held the lowest win rate in the mid lane with a laughable 44%. However, with the nerfs to her made on patch 9.11, she's created a new record for herself and has once again topped herself at a 42% win rate. This is one of the lowest win rates I've ever seen, and I believe it or not, I think she's even a lower win rate than Yuumi now, the inting cat. Our challenger analysts recommend that you avoid this champion for solo queue because she's in a really bad spot now. But there are some good news. You'll still see Akali being picked in competitive play for patch 9.11 due to her strengths in pro play and still being pretty intact there. Flex picks are just insanely OP when it comes to tournament games, so don't be alarmed when your favorite team locks her in. The bottom lane / ADC tier list has a few changes made to most of the tiers for our mid-patch analysis. In S tier, we have Jinx, Kai'Sa, Sivir, Ezreal, and a new member in Xayah. Xayah has been rising in popularity ever since MSI, and her win rate has been going up at a steady rate. She's pretty much a solid S tier pick now, and is an S+ tier pick with the right hands in Rakan. In addition to this, she's pretty much one of the best AD carries for professional play, which goes to show just how strong she really is. Draven received a bug fix on his ultimate at the start of the patch, and his dominance in the bot lane has definitely dropped. Right now, he's hovering around an A+ to S- level pick, but our analysts have decided to leave him in A tier due to his high skill cap. However, Draven is still an extremely powerful pick in the right hands, so do not underestimate this champion. He can still 1v9. For patch 9.11, our analysts recommend that you pick up Kai'Sa in the bottom lane. In our OP Korean builds for patch 9.10, our analysts noticed that there was a trend going on in Korea where players were starting to build tier on Kai'Sa instead of Stormrazor first. 2 weeks later, that build has now become the standard and most pro players have been spamming it in solo queue. Make sure that you check out our Korean builds video for patch 9.10 if you want to learn how to play that build, and also check out our Korean builds video for patch 9.11 if you want to see even more new OP builds. Last but not least, let's move on to our friendly supports. The support list received a lot of changes compared to our previous one, and in our S+ tier, we welcome a new member alongside Nautilus, which is Lux. Lux's win rate as a support has been increasing by a huge amount every single patch, and she's finally made her way into the upper echelon of League of Legends. One of her biggest weaknesses as a support in the past was her squishiness, but with her Aftershock build, it has completely removed this weakness. She now does lots of damage, provides peel, long range poke, a good laning phase, a ton of shielding, but most importantly now she's super tanky. Lux has almost no weaknesses as a support and is now a great pickup for patch 9.11. Nautilus still resides in our S+ tier, and yup, I mean, he's still OP, I guess, if that's what you want me to say. Nautilus is the best melee support in the game right now, and he's right up there with Lux in terms of strength. He's got base damage, tankiness, tons of CC, and provides the best lockdown in the game. But the best part is both our supports in the S+ tier are fairly easy to play, so you should have no problem picking them up and abusing them for free low. Support should have no issue climbing on this patch if you get your hands on these two champs. In our S tier, we have Thresh, Pyke, Morgana, Janna, and Nami. Janna's received a pretty big buff on her E recently, and it's made her win rate increase by a significant amount. She's probably the best peeling support in the game now, and a lot of Janna mains are very satisfied with the changes. However, with the increase in play of squishy support such as Nami and Janna, Leona is now making a comeback into the meta. Leona's been moved up into our A tier, and she's a great counter pick if you play her correctly. Rush level 2 with your relic shield and then engage for a quick level 2 all in. As long as you and your ADC are level 2 while the enemy bot lane is level 1, you should auto win as long as you land your E. Lastly, let's talk about everybody's favorite cat in Yuumi. Now, her win rate started at an abysmal, literally abysmal 36%, but slowly increased to 43% over the span of a few weeks. If you watched our previous tier list video for 9.11, you would know that our challenger analyst made a bold prediction that Yuumi's win rate will increase to 46% sometime this patch. It turns out they were spot on, and now Yuumi holds a 46.2% win rate as a support. Our challenger analysts here at ProGuides are saying that now her win rate could increase towards upwards of 48% within the next few weeks. And make sure you keep a mental note of this, and let's see if they're spot on again a few weeks from now. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for our mid-patch analysis video for 9.11. If you enjoyed watching this, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to be notified of our next video. Also, make sure you check out our previous videos on the 6 best OP jungle paths, as well as the OP Korean builds for patch 9.11 if you want to maximize your chances at winning. Make sure you're checking out ProGuides.com for free content and guides that were made by your favorite pro players. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the Rift climbing some solo queue.